Tom, Chelsea, lovely to have you on the show. Let's hear about the origins of KAIROS. Welcome.
So KAIROS originally came about because of a lot of anger. There was a couple of competitions out that were only having like pro divisions for men, and they had random like open classes and stuff, and it meant that a lot of people were getting marginalized. So and the common problem that was cited was that you can't find women specifically. You can't fill a division.
You can't make a division happen. There's not enough. Yeah. There's not enough money. There's not enough athletes. There's just not enough.
So it actually happened with Scramble as well. One of the competition organizers like, well, if you think it's so easy, do it yourself, despite them actually being part of Polaris. But we had the same idea at the same time, talked to Scramble about it, and they were like, yeah, let's put this together. So within the space of about 48 hours, we'd pulled 10 women, put together a £2,000 prize, which matched, I think it matched what they were offering on their offering.
Whatever that tournament was that was offering at the time. Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, you can do this. And I think it was literally in the course of a month. And we've picked out, it was actually a lot thanks to Violet Bennett, who just won Nogi Euros. She very tapped into the scene. She knew a lot of the girls who were going to be exciting, going to be entertaining to watch. And we brought them in, set up the division.
Yeah, I mean, we made it complicated for ourselves too, because we had to find athletes that could and would fight both gi and no-gi, which is a lot more difficult than just finding somebody who will do one or the other.
So the origins of the gi and no-gi thing came from a competition that Chelsea did. She'd done a couple of them. It was actually called to gi or not to gi. It was a really cool idea. I would coach her at one of them as well, and it was a really fun competition because you didn't really know what was going to happen. You flipped a coin and you went out there and had a scrap. And so we decided to adopt that same idea because no one was really doing it. It was a little bit different.
Everybody likes to argue about whether gi or no gi is more exciting, and honestly, we haven't had like a bad match yet. So I don't think it really matters.
So we wanted that was kind of another string that we pulled on it, is to show that it doesn't really matter what jiu-jitsu you're playing, right? Whether you're doing gi, whether you're doing no-gi, it can be engaging. It can be super fun.
It's about the athlete and about the rule set, not about the uniform that you're in or whatever you're wearing.
And so that kind of became the thing that that kind of became what we started doing. And then we were like, how do we set this up? Because one of the other issues that we recognize within like the women's jiu-jitsu specifically is they would go to a competition and they might get like 1 or 2 fights. They might be the only people in the division. So the girls don't necessarily get a lot of heavy competitive experience where like, if a guy enters like any typical random blue belt division, they might get 4 or 5 matches.
And
women any competition, right? So we were like, well, let's make this an experience for the girls as well, where they can have that deep experience. So that's where the pools idea came from. Good. So then we had.
Well, it came from another tournament that I had done where I had to fight in a true Grand Prix where you fight everybody, and it was a super intense tournament, and I wanted to recreate that a little bit.
Yeah. So then we pulled these ideas, gave the girls tons of experience. We tried to give them lots of exposure. They had lots of really amazing matches, and then the 2 went on to compete for the prize at the end of it, which was really nice. So that was kind of the origins of it.
Fantastic. Well, that was KAIROS 2, which was absolutely incredible. I loved kind of chatting with all of the women and Tommy and Daniel for the super fights. But I want to kind of just highlight that from idea to let's get this going within 48 hours, it's just, all the best ideas come and happen very, very quickly. What else has kind of happened in that kind of time frame for you building up Escapology BJJ and kind of getting your business and everything else running really smoothly and really slickly?
I don't think anything has happened like that. Like all of the.
That's not true. We moved into our new gym in a space of like 24 hours after pulling out of a deal with another building.
There's stuff. There's things that happen that seem like they happen really fast, but they're all built off years and years of our experience. So when we moved into our new location, we'd been negotiating with
for like 18 months.
About 18 months, and it was going miserably. We weren't getting anywhere. And so the morning that we decided to pull out of that deal, basically, we was like at the point where we were like having to put a final offer in and whatnot, and we knew it wasn't going to work. So we went and viewed the premises. We pulled out of one deal, set up the next one. Within 2 months, we had secured the lease, and within 4 months, we'd moved into the new gym. So it was like this insane whiplash of very, very slow grinding, tons of negotiation. We had to do insane stuff like get mechanical, electrical engineers and stuff like that. It was nuts. And to go from that to like this thing which just flew through because there was a tenant who needed to get out of the contract.
They were like desperate to get somebody in there. It was a little bit of you've been there, Lou. It's a little bit of an odd building. It's not. I mean, it is an amazing building, but like, who else other than us is going to move in there, right? It's not like a typical office space.
But the reason that we were able to do that, and the same reason that we pulled KAIROS together so quickly, is because of the experience that we had. We can pluck the different ideas. We can see what's going to work. We can then put the infrastructure into place very quickly.
Yeah, I think that's one of the key things, that when things happen very quickly, you're very right in kind of mentioning that it doesn't happen with immediate thought and kind of unconsidered action. There is often a huge amount of time and consideration, learning, development, and growth that happen prior to that action. And I've just loved everything that you've done, because it all comes across extremely professional and very considered, and just with a wholehearted kind of vibe and feel that is supportive of everyone, particularly the pro athletes, which were featured on KAIROS 2. And we also have the professional male athletes, the under 66 kg, on KAIROS 3, which is incredibly exciting.
Yeah. Again, it was done for the same reason. The smaller guys often get ignored. So particularly the kind of flyweights and light featherweights, they get kind of, because they're not as big, maybe the jiu-jitsu is very different and they do all these kind of crazy things. They get marginalized.
I mean, they can, in theory, compete in the absolute, but it's punishing on the body. It shortens their career, right? Like it's not a great thing for a rooster weight to be in an absolute.
Yeah, I mean, you saw this with Mikey Musumeci when he fought in the Europeans. He got crushed. That destroyed his hips.
Maybe you can win, but at what cost long term, right?
And so we wanted to get some of these very talented people. Like, this is always the ethos of KAIROS. It's not about getting people like for example, Owen Jones. Owen Jones is a very good friend of ours. He's come down and trained with us many, many times. But I wouldn't have Owen on KAIROS. Owen gets so much publicity. He gets so much attention. And there's other people out there who aren't necessarily as in the media as much, as well known,
if we
who
look
just
at
have great skills.
The alums, the people who have come out of KAIROS, you have, obviously Violet was on the first KAIROS card. Selma Vick was on the first KAIROS card. Sula May on the first KAIROS card. All who have gone on to do have big careers. You had Libby win the last KAIROS card.
That was incredible.
You have Fran Lana, who's gone on to do a lot since then. You've got also Rose has gone on to medal at multiple majors since then. All of those girls have gone on to do big things, even in the short time since their KAIROS. But they weren't that before they came, and then they went on to go on to that.
So it is trying to platform those people and trying to raise their profiles, which then feeds back into the way that we run the show. We try to make it's very special. It's quite unique being part of it. There's no, I don't think there's any other show quite like it in the way that we set it up and we run it, and the way that the athletes are kind of taken care of and thought about as well. And that comes from being an athlete as well. Like, what would I want out of this environment? How would I like to be supported? So a really good example was at the first KAIROS, we got all of the girls high quality images and headshots so that they could then use them anywhere they went.
You understand, Lou, don't you?
Completely.
The drama of the headshots. We had one athlete send a headshot that did not have his entire head in it.
Yeah, it was like this.
It was fantastic. I laughed for so long.
Yeah. But it's very simple things like that we have access to because we have a team around us we can provide those things that then help further their career.
Absolutely. And it really does platform those athletes that come through KAIROS and also those that train at Escapology BJJ. Now, talk me through how you kind of support those athletes coming through. You've mentioned the headshots and the kind of professional assets from a marketing perspective that are required regardless of which industry you're in. Having quality photos, quality video content is just, it's unforgivable to have poor quality content out there completely. But how else do you support these athletes?
Well, I think we also give them access to all of their matches. So they get all of that footage afterwards. We don't hold on to it. Like, we don't require them to, pay us for it. They just get access to it. I know that coming up for me, I don't have access to a lot of the matches that I did over the years because just nobody was filming it at the time. And the matches that I do have, they're low quality matches. So it's not great. They get all of that access to all of that. Obviously, we're trying to raise as much prize money as possible for them. Everything we are getting is going into the prize pots to make sure that all the athletes are getting paid. And eventually I want to get to the point where we are actually having prize pots for all of the athletes, including the super fights. We're still growing to that point.
Yeah. And I think it's also, there's an element where we're kind of like doing our best to educate people. Like, these are the contracts that we're sending out, for example. So they have to go through the process of being able to sign contracts. They have to go through and like book the various things, like, for example, coming on this podcast, or
getting a headshot to somebody else, answering a questionnaire, filling out medical forms, all of these things. Some of these guys in this, particularly in this one, you've got some young guys who are trying to make jiu-jitsu their career. Like, they're trying to do it in a way that's going to provide for them. And there's a business side to that as well as an athlete side. And nobody teaches, it's not nobody, but like, it's very, very rare to find somebody teaching kids how to make a living out of jiu-jitsu. It's one of the things that I learned at AOJ. They really, really focused on teaching those kids how to make a living out of what they are doing. They know how to make money out of jiu-jitsu, and it's a skill. It's a skill, and like, if you don't have it, you don't have it, and no matter how good you are, you don't have it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for highlighting that, because I think that's a really important part. I know I've had a number of people on my own podcast, and the young guys that have come on the KAIROS Pro Jiu-Jitsu podcast that are starting out wanting to be professional athletes, continue their career, but there's an element of their experience, expertise, and quality on the mats, but equally the business side of things as well. Obviously the KAIROS 3 is on Sunday the 16th of November, up at Escapology BJJ. How can people get involved, watch the stream, or is there space for them to come and watch in person? What's kind of happening on that day?
We don't really have space for people to come to the event. That is somewhat intentional as well. Like, we don't want a massive crowd there. We want it to be about the athletes. And with all the entourages of people that turn up, there's just not a lot of space, right?
And I know that there's like a vibe in big events, but I really genuinely believe that you get some of the best performances out of athletes in smaller, quieter venues, and that has been borne out by experience. And that's one of the things that we're also trying to do. Like, you can get everybody keyed up in big events and stuff, but there is an element of focus involved in jiu-jitsu, and I've found that athletes do perform a lot better in a smaller, quieter venue. So if you are doing an event that is for consumers, you want the athletes relaxed.
So we're going to be streaming it. It's streamed completely free. It'll be up on YouTube. It'll be on the Escapology channel. We've actually just set up a KAIROS website. I'll probably add the link in the.
I'm still working on the website.
Yeah, we're still working on that. There'll be like a page on that where people can watch it. We'll also put the page up on our website as well. We'll do all of that kind of stuff. We'll also, when we come to do the coin flip, so we also release the brackets, the pools of brackets.
We live stream those.
We live stream that. Sometimes that works. Sometimes that doesn't work very well. But yeah, we'll do what it's like. Going live is always interesting. But yeah, it's always free. Again, that's about we're not hoarding it behind anything. We want to promote the athletes. Therefore, we're going to stream it free, so that people can watch it and, you know, get access to that and see these guys go at it, because it should be a lot of fun.
It should be, yeah.
I think it's really important that you're giving the time and space and dedication to the athletes, those that may not have been on some of those big stages or kind of at the beginning of their professional career, giving them that quiet space to focus, to have their energy, and to fight in the best possible way, I think is really quite an honor, actually, because it can be, you know, I've been to some of the other big events and it can be quite off-putting. You know, I'm always really mindful to speak to athletes and go, do you want a kind of quiet room, or do you want us to cheer? What's the vibe? Because sometimes it can feel quite uncomfortable. But I remember KAIROS 2, watching the live stream, and you're probably quite grateful that I wasn't there, because I'm sure, like many people watching the stream, we were shouting and cheering everybody on in our own homes or wherever we were watching. It was incredibly exciting, but equally peaceful presence, you know, quite engaging jiu-jitsu. So it's quite a, you know, the dichotomy between the kind of peaceful competitive nature, as well as being at home and feeling quite fired up by it all. How
I think
obviously
I think that's the goal.
Yeah. It's good. I kind of see, I'm seeing visuals now, Tom and Chelsea, that Escapology and KAIROS, there's very cold, cool blue tones, and then there's the rest of us getting kind of fired up, and there's lots of red and orange. Anyway, there's my visual mind going. I love the fact that you were both commentating on KAIROS 2, and it was just a really beautiful support for the athletes. And of course, you've commentated a number of times together. Is there anything that we don't see or hear behind the scenes that you know?
No, on KAIROS you see a lot of the stuff, because we're also running all the tech as well.
Doing tech. I'm also running the room. Sometimes I'm just covering the mic and miming at people to go places.
There's a lot of fun stuff that will happen in that event. Even like no, there is stuff that happens kind of behind the scenes. Like in the last event, we lost an athlete temporarily for like an hour when they were supposed to be coming on. That was kind of quite exciting.
I also tripped and swore on a hot mic.
Yeah, so we'll get hot mic things and stuff like that. It's like it's pretty raw. I'm hoping so. The fun thing is that we, like I said, we do all the production stuff as well. I'm going to be using some new software for the next one. It could be chaotic. It could be amazing. We're going to be having like multiple camera angles. So I've got to set all that up. Yeah, there's a lot that kind of goes into it, which makes it fun. And the day is definitely exciting.
Yeah. It's like all of our volunteers are really what allow us to like sit and do comms, because beforehand we go through everything. You know, we have a running order. We have like, you know, a couple of people that are in charge of all the other people, and we know that they're going to get everybody where they need to go. And then it just, you say go, and now everybody has to do it silently.
Yeah. I mean, we're relatively fortunate. Like I've done
we've done a lot of shows.
I've done a lot of shows. I've been part of Polaris since Polaris 2. So I think I've been on 32 of the shows, either competing or as in like commentating and whatnot. So we were able to, like we were talking about before, draw from that experience and then place it into the KAIROS. So what do we need for professionalism? How are we going to, you know, I get to see all the production side of things as well. Like we even spoke to the guys at ProTech and was like, how can we increase like the quality of what we're doing?
Yeah, it's really nice to have those connections, you know, going to shows. Like I was at Tanto a couple of weeks ago, just poking around, asking Simon questions about how to run a show. It's nice to have those connections though, with people that will help you out.
Yeah, but I think again, for people out there as well, it's important to see that both Chelsea and I are doing it. This is something that I really recognized when my daughter was born. Like I want her to be able to do the things that she wants to do, whether that's like commentating or competing. And one of the most important things about that is having representation in the sport. So we have things like there's female referees, there'll be runners, Chelsea will be on commentary. We have like main events that are women of And we're like
I knew that because we were doing a male Grand Prix, that the super fights that we were going to have were going to be women. We had a little bit of trouble finding all the matches that we wanted to find. I really wanted to get one more super fight in there, so we had almost gender parity on the card. Didn't quite make it this time, but it is still a baby show. So
so we're trying to get to those kind of things, and like, again, highlight those people who don't necessarily get the representation that they might need.
Yeah, I think it's really important and very valuable to have both of your experience. I was chatting with a previous podcast guest, and Tom, you were kind of quoted to be the only one that managed to establish which move it was at that time.
Was it Dylan?
It was Dylan.
It was.
Yeah.
Dominic, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
like
so
I think from a commentary perspective, and an instructing perspective, it's very important to have like a well-rounded knowledge. Like Dominic, sorry, has like a wild game, but he also comes from a catch wrestling background. Like, part of my early experience was training with Eric Paulson, so I know a lot of that stuff, and I can, I know the things that is going to be happening. I've been around the sport a long time, so it's fun when I can point to those things.
I think commentary and coaching are just they're exactly the same skill set. When I'm doing commentary, I'm just coaching into a mic instead of at an athlete. It's exactly the same skill set that you tap into. You have to see the things that are coming ahead of time, right? And you have to be able to communicate that to an audience rather than an athlete. But to me, they're exactly the same
I think
set of skills.
there is an added element to it as well, that you also want to make it engaging. So in all honesty, sometimes when Chelsea and I are commentating, I'll know the thing that's going to happen, and then I'll say that something that might not necessarily happen, and she'll be like, well, no, this is going to happen. And then it creates that little dynamic of what's going to happen. And normally Chelsea's correct in these situations, but it adds
at
engagement.
Tanto, Vanessa called me a witch because I predicted what was going to happen
so
many times.
I think that's a very important element of commentary. So we were talking to, I can't remember the guy's name. I'm going to have to apologize to him again. I know him as Caveman from like Elite. He's very good, very high level blue belt guy.
I think he just, maybe he didn't.
I'm not sure if he's not, but he's been out there winning. Like,
he was on Polaris a couple of times.
He was on Polaris and whatnot. And like the one thing that you see all the time is like cartwheel guard passing. And you never see cartwheel guard passing works. And I was as he was going through the match, he was like clearly winning the match the majority of the time. But obviously, as a commentator, our job is to add color to the event. And I'm like, oh, he's looking a bit tired. Oh, he's tried that cartwheel guard pass again. We never see that work. And then he immediately hit into an armbar from a cartwheel guard pass. And I'm like, brilliant.
I love it. This is it kind of generates the red and orange fire from the rest of us at home.
Yeah, exactly.
But the people there don't hear what you're saying necessarily, and we get the best of both worlds watching a stream, to be honest.
Yeah, it's funny. So like, I apologize to him when I saw him, because I was like, hey, I've got it wrong. But like, I think that is a really important point. The commentary is there to add the color to it, and sometimes athletes get very annoyed when commentators are like, "Oh, he's not going to get that submission." And it's to add like, you're trying to make these people enjoy what they're watching. Like, everybody knows, like, you've nearly ripped his leg off. Obviously, you're going to get the submission, but let's add a little bit of drama.
Okay, well, that's really helpful that you've explained that, because to try and kind of smooth out the feelings around all of this, because it really does feel like you're bringing such a wonderful vibe and feeling to all of this. This is the Kairos Pro Jiu-Jitsu podcast with me, Lou Temlett. The sponsors of the Kairos 3 this time are 866 Jiu-Jitsu and Wellness Camp, Gi Repair Lab, Scramble Brand, Jits Magazine, Jiu-Jitsu Lou Podcast, Bitug, and Tansoft. Please go and follow all the sponsors in the show notes. And a reminder that Kairos 3 is on Sunday, the 16th of November, and will be streamed live on YouTube, Escapology, and Kairos website. Today, I'm having a conversation with Tom and Chelsea, founders of Escapology BJJ and Kairos. Chelsea, I've seen a number of different things coming through on your stories for Kairos, medals being one of them. And having hosted my own event recently, I get quite protective and kind of love producing these assets that are branded. Talk to me a bit about that.
Okay, so our medals are handmade by one of our students. They are laser engraved wooden medals. I think 2 or 3 layers of wood put together. And then I take them and I gold foil them so that they are nice and shiny, because everybody wants a shiny medal. Mostly. Yeah. So then I add ribbons, and I add usually a pin to the medals just to make them, metal. But we could have ordered actual medals, but when we started KAIROS, we were on such a shoestring that we begged our student to make these medals for us, and he's been making them ever since. I'm thinking of branching out, because he's a ceramic artist, so I'm thinking of branching out and getting him to do us like cool ceramic medals next time, but we'll see.
I did follow his account on Instagram, and I will put that in the show notes, because it's always worth a follow. Like, kind of promoting the athletes, it's promoting the sponsors and people that support your show. That is part of everybody's growth, because we're all just trying to kind of get by and do good stuff, which is what this is all about. Now, talk me through how many of the under 66 kg male professional athletes you have on the show, and talk to us a little bit about the super fights that we might expect to see on the stream.
Okay, so as always with these events, we're doing a pool of essentially 10 athletes.
10 athletes,
they're
5 per pool.
Yeah, 5 per pool. They will compete against each other and then go through to the final. And we've we've selected people that we feel are both very exciting to watch, but again, slightly underrepresented in terms of their presence in the media.
Either because they're still like coming up, like Issa is still like on his way up, or just because they are generally not given a huge platform for whatever reason.
Yeah, like maybe they're not as active on social media, or they don't necessarily have big sponsors or any of those kind of things, but they have amazing jiu-jitsu and they're just not as well known. So that's who we've gone with those. And then for our super fights, we kind of based it on the next event that we're going to run.
That was kind of an accident, but it worked out. So we've got Violet Bennett and Laura Barker as our main card super fight, or like our main super fight, and we are going to be hopefully running an under 75 kilo women's division as our next edition. In the next
event. They kind of like get spots onto that.
Both of them will get invited onto that card as a result.
So again, it's kind of like highlighting the next event as it comes through. So that should be very, very cool, hopefully.
And then after that, I think we'll be kind of circling back to the 65 kilo women's division.
We might have Masters Men. We were going to do that, right?
Yeah, we were talking about doing like a Masters Men Legends division.
So we'll see.
Yes.
I like the name of that. And maybe at some point in the future, when I become good enough, Chelsea and Tom, maybe a Legends Masters female. I've got a long way to go yet, but
like all of those things are what we want to do. Like we're not trying to compete with Polaris, right? We're not trying to do what they do. It's a very different thing. So we want to get different people on there, the people that we want to watch.
Yeah, we want to see fights that a bigger production probably couldn't put on, because they just don't have it's just not what it's for, right? Who's number one is fine, but it's not for putting on a weird men's Legends division. Right? Like it's a different audience, right? So we think that there's space for these kinds of things to coexist, and maybe a need for them to coexist. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think all of these shows, they're all incredible, and they all have their own kind of niche within the business of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And I think, growing kind of the pillars as I see it, in these different shows and the different events, and especially KAIROS, that there's a place for everyone to exist in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and shows, whether they're streamed or in person or both. It's just a way to showcase those athletes that, like you say, haven't yet had the profile, but they may well be seen on much bigger shows and events and winning gold at Worlds. And I only dream of those things, you guys, but in the future, we'll see.
Our record holds.
Yeah.
What have you got anything else to add particularly about KAIROS 3?
Oh, good question.
Yeah.
No.
That's fine.
No, like I'm excited
about anything else. Obviously,
no.
the price pot is that's fine. The price pot is £2,500.
Yes.
And KAIROS 2.
I have something to add about that as well.
Oh yeah,
I have
Tom needs
something to
to
add
say
about this.
something
Yeah.
about
I was
this.
pulling you in there. Go on.
You know how I accidentally I said I made a mistake about the commentary thing? So I made a mistake with the prize pot when I was doing it. So we've always consistently done 2K pots.
I even have a giant check with 2K written on it.
So we were setting up the bracket as Chelsea and I were about to go on holiday, and I was messaging a bunch of guys that I wanted on there, and I told them all that it was 2.5K. And so,
and guess what?
And then
now we have to
now we have to do 2.5K. So, but the downside is now like we've paid all the women 2K, and that seems like it's kind of bad that now we've jumped over to like men doing 2.5K, and I feel bad about that. It's my inbuilt patriarchy coming out, even though it was a total accident.
Vanessa has crawled into Tom's ear and lives there about this now.
So going forwards, all of the events are going to be 2.5K until we get more money, and then we'll pay more money out.
Exactly. So and then until you accidentally say that it's like a much bigger amount, I'm not going to mention anything now
unless I get it wrong again, in which case we'll fulfill that. You know, I think, you know, again, it's one of those things. It's important to have the integrity within the sport. Like I told the athletes that.
That's what he told
them. Gonna make
so
it happen now.
This is how we get things done. Is Tom says something, and then we have to find a way to make it happen, isn't it?
Yeah, mostly.
Now, do you have any kind of requests from anyone listening or watching the show for future events, whether it's kind of sponsorship, support, athlete engagement, anything else that you want to kind of highlight in preparation for future KAIROS events?
Yeah, so I'm hoping that this come across in this conversation is KAIROS is about the athletes. Like our gym, Escapology, puts in a ton of capital. We fund it.
Sponsor this event.
We do get other sponsors who help us out as well. So if there's anybody out there who wants to, you know, support athletes going forwards, everything goes to them.
Everything goes to them.
Like we do as much as we possibly can for them. I'd love to be able to do more.
I'd love to even get to the point where, you know, we ask a lot of our volunteers. I'd love to get to the point where we could pay our volunteers too and make the show like more self-sustaining.
Yeah, like this event has nothing to do with Chelsea and I. It represents what I wanted when I was growing up. Like I didn't get the opportunities because it just wasn't around when I was coming up through the ranks.
I wanted a tournament that treated me like an actual person and not just like something that they were using to put on a show. Right?
Yeah. So if anybody wants to help us out with that side of things, that would be incredible. It would allow us to do a lot more to help these people. And then for anybody watching, like tune into the stream, like us getting more viewers on those streams, that helps us.
Get, the more shares, the more interaction we get with the event, the better. Obviously, any media companies that want to cover it would be fantastic.
Yeah,
we've got Jits Mag covering it.
We pop a tip jar typically with Throw the stream. So if anybody enjoys the stream, they can tip it, and then we'll pass that over to the athletes again, because again, it's all for them as much as possible. Like we're just trying to support those people.
And obviously you've both been through kind of the pro athlete status, and you know that it doesn't come for free. There has to be such a huge amount of financial investment to allow these athletes to travel, to compete, and kit and all of those other things. So I think, you know, what you're doing is just fantastic.
Thank you. Well, that's what we're trying to achieve. Yeah. Like I truly know how hard it was. Like for me, I've actually counted up how much I spent in terms of like doing all my competitions and stuff like that. And it's like a small house. So
I don't doubt it.
Yeah. So like, again, like it was when I was doing it, there weren't opportunities. There were no pro shows. You did not get paid for doing jiu-jitsu.
When I was just getting my black belt, I've been a black belt 11 years this year. When I just got my black belt, the first pro shows were just starting to.
Yeah, we had Metamoris, right?
Yeah, you had Metamoris starting, and you had a couple of other shows, but even then they were localized to Southern California. I was lucky to be able to kind of experience them because I was there, but it was just there was nothing, and you know there are opportunities now,
which is great, and we want to be able to support as many people as we can by doing this.
Good. Well, you're both doing a fantastic job, and all for the athletes that are coming through KAIROS events. I've loved speaking with every single one of them. I've always got an ear out for those the special moments, and you know, what might be to come in terms of you know, winners and kind of successes and future stars of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. But Tom and Chelsea, I want to thank you, because you are the unsung heroes of Escapology BJJ and KAIROS, and I just want to kind of throw you flowers, because you know, that's the thing to do.
Thank you. That's very kind.
Go and follow KAIROS Pro Jiu Jitsu podcast and KAIROS Pro Jiu Jitsu on Instagram. All the links in the show notes. Please go and support those athletes that you see, and all of the sponsors, to keep KAIROS running for the future. That's about it.
Cool. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you.
See you very soon.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Please go and follow the show. And as always, check out the clips on YouTube and Instagram at KAIROS Pro Jiu Jitsu. That's it. Catch me on the next episode of the KAIROS Pro Jiu Jitsu podcast.